Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we'll be looking at the Smogons OU tier list and see how the top 25 Pokemon do within the VGC 2020 rule set. Of course there's one disadvantage, and that is that Smogon allows for some Pokemon that VGC doesn't, so we just discounted those. And look at the 25 top Pokemon that are actually legal. So without further ado, I think we should just jump right into it. We'll be starting at the bottom, and something that I should have mentioned is that I'm using Pikalytics as my source for this, and I'm pretty sure that this was made before. Like, the stats has an update after we got the hidden ability status for Generation 8, but, you know, we'll just jump with it. And we are starting from the bottom, and we're starting with Hatterene, which is a little funky in VGC, because it's obviously really good, and you can use the G-Max form, which Confusion is not the most reliable, but it's obviously pretty annoying. But it's very situational, so like one type of team, like the Indeedee Hatterene. So like it does really well, but it's very specific. So I'm kind of torn between A and B tier, because it is good. Like we can all agree that Hatterene is good, but it's just only good on certain teams, which almost wants me to make it into a B tier, because it needs like the Indeedee Trick Room, Follow Me shenanigans to really do its work. So yeah, I think we'll let it be B. Next up is Hawlucha. I really don't think Hawlucha is very good. Obviously it gets on burden, but like its damage output is just, it's not there. Like you can make it work, because obviously it does get Soul Stance, and since it can Dynamax you can put on a weakness policy, have it live some hits, but it's not really that good. Whereas something like Grimmsnarl is also like between A and B tier, I think, because it's really good support with screens. And it also has the advantage that it can hit pretty hard. But it's also, when you have the support set, and you have like Fake Out, and you have screens, it also really limits your damage output. So it's kind of, I almost want to put it down to Hatterene down in the B tier, because it's good, but it's like pretty niche in what it can do. And it's kind of like the same with Mimikyu. It's obviously, I think Mimikyu is kind of, it's obviously good. It has a good ability and can live any move. But I think like compared to when you look at last generation, where Mimikyu was like basically the setup Pokemon, set up Soul Stance and then blew you back with a C move, this generation is more support. Like it's there to prop something like Dragapult's weakness policy, is there to set Trick Room if it needs. It's not really there to do damage itself. It becomes more of a support Pokemon than anything else, kind of, that can deal some damage out but isn't really the best. Cinderace obviously just got hidden ability. We're taking it for that. I kind of want to tier it like between, because I don't think it'll stay S tier, but it's definitely a very good Pokemon with its hidden ability. And I think it'll definitely make something like a Cinderella one Arcanine run around even more, because you need to intimidate this thing, because its Libera ability is so dumb, especially when it can max and doesn't have to rely on an accurate high jump kick. So I think we'll put an A tier. We have to see like how this kind of develops. You could argue right now like it's all over the place when you go on the rank ladder, but I think it'll fall a little bit like after the hype kind of dies down, but it's definitely a very good Pokemon, and it's very fast, which is also such a big advantage for it. We got the next 5 up, and we have some treasures here, and the first is Conkeldurr. And I kind of have the same, I kind of want to tier like between, because Conkeldurr is really, really good generally. It just has the advantage that it hits like some of the bigger threats in the whole metagame super hard, and it can tank hits from a lot of things, bearing like the fairy type, and you can put an AV on it, or you can put flame orbs on and be like on the Trick Room, and it can really do a lot of damage. And I'm torn between A and S. I feel like if I make Cinderace A tier, I almost have to make Conkeldurr the same. But like, Conkeldurr has a nice advantage that obviously it has priority to kind of make up for it, and yeah, it's actually, that's hard. I decided to throw Cinderace up because I really can't decide. Like, it's so silly, but I really can't. Next up is Primarina. Primarina's really good, but if they had made Liquid Voice, like Hyper Voice, it would have been so much better. But like, it can hit hard and can take some hits, but it has a little bit of an annoying speed tier for it. I think that we put it down here in C. Tyranitar is obviously a very good Pokemon. It's a Santa that pairs so well with Excadrill, but it can also do well without it. But obviously has some weaknesses, and you can see the two guys above it is kind of making Tyranitar's life a little bit harder, but it's still such a solid Pokemon that I think that's definitely an A tier. We have Cloyster. Sorry Cloyster fans, bad in VGC. Do I need to give an explanation? Obviously it relies on not Dynamaxing and it's getting attacked by 2 Pokemon, so you're never really insured to get out the Shadow Smash anyway. And even if you do, you can only kill 1 Pokemon, so it doesn't really hold the same threat in VGC, let's just say it like that. Where something like Togekiss, you can slap Togekiss on any team and it'll just do work, and it can be offensive or it can be like defensive and follow me, or it can Dynamax and it can be Super Lock and Weakness Pulse. Like, it can be all these sets. And you can throw it on any team and it'll do work. So it's so silly, but it's definitely an S tier. We got the next batch. First of all is Mandibuzz. I have not faced a single Mandibuzz and I somehow don't think I will. It just kind of falls flat in this meta. There's so many things that does what it does better. Because there's better Tailwind uses, and there's better Dark types, and what else does Mandibuzz really do? Because I think that's again like one of the differences between last generation and this, is that this metagame is just so much more offensive because the Dynamax is what it is. So it almost becomes too passive really to do a lot of work. Seismitoad I would put next to Hawlucha. Like, it has its use as a Swiss swimmer, but currently we don't really have, like, Philipper's the best range setter, and it's not really that prevalent, and even then, Seismitoad has never really been one of the more used Swiss swimmers. It's actually always kind of fallen flat. But, like, you can make it work if you really want to, but it's kind of like a toss-up in that regard. Draco is a little bit funky. I'm torn between A and B, because obviously if it outspeeds, it hits like a truck, but it also relies so heavily on its water move. But you have to really, like, if you see it on preview, you have to have a plan for it. So I feel like it deserves this A tier, even though I don't really know that it fully does deserve its A tier, which sounds so weird. But, like, it forces mind games, and it means that, like, if you see Dracovish, you really need to have a plan, because obviously it doesn't have the best speed, and that's kind of what saves you in this regard. Because if against Trick Room, it's bad because it'll be slower on the Trick Room, and if it doesn't have Tailwind support, then a lot of things are faster, so it kind of becomes like a little annoying in those instances. But if you put it like on the Tailwind and they don't have Trick Room, and you can just click Vicious Random basically anything, Dracovish can absolutely destroy a team by itself. And one of the nice things about it is that it isn't really competing about Dynamaxing with the rest of your Pokemon, because most of the time it wouldn't want to Dynamax. Next up is Rotom Heat, and it's so funny because in VGC I'd say Rotom Wash is better. I'll probably put it in the B tier, just because it does kind of the same as Rotom Wash. It just has more weaknesses, especially more prevalent things, like the Tyranitar, that doesn't really hit too well, and it relies on Overheat if it doesn't max, and that's just -2, and of course you can Nasty Plot to kind of make up for it, but I think, had it been Rotom Wash, I would probably put it in A, but I think Rotom Heat should be B tier. Bishop, I'll admit, I have not faced a single Bishop. I don't necessarily think that it can't work. It probably could, because like it has a good attack. Like speed it's not great, but it's not awful, but it's just not really. I think it's again in the niche where like there's so many things that does better than Bishop does, so it kind of just falls a little flat in the meta. We're going up to the top 10 most used. We have Komodo first, and for how good it was last generation, I don't know, it's a little bit silly, because obviously now, like, it has a move that boosts all of its stats, but it costs a lot to set them up, as opposed to when it had the Z-move last generation, where you actually did damage while doing it. Now you're just passive, and you actually hurt yourself a little bit by doing it, and in a metagame where you have two Pokemon attacking you, is not really the best, especially because you have fairy types, like Togekiss that's very prevalent, Primarina is prevalent, Hatterene you also see, Sylveon is also something that runs around. So it becomes a little bit, it can't really do what it needs to do to really set itself up and be present on the field. And it just makes it, it makes it fall flat at the end. Hydreigon I would probably also put down there, like obviously got Nasty Plot, and Nasty Plot is nice, but it's just, it doesn't really hit the things that it needs to do. Like, you can make it work, but it's just, you have to fight to make it work. It's not something that you can basically slap on a team and say, okay, this is actually quite nice. It gives me a lot of value, like, right from the get-go. It needs more help than that. It just has it's kind of, I'm a little tossed. I haven't really seen anyone use it successfully, and obviously it took a little bit of nerf, but it's still not a bad Pokemon. And it is more prevalent, and obviously like Steel type is quite nice, especially because it's actually Steel type, there's this fairy, so that helps a lot, and you have the Ghost typing, which is also quite good in this meta actually, like overall. Because you can already see, like up at the top, it does well against Conkeldurr, because Conkeldurr can have knockoff. It does well against Togekiss unless it has a fire move, and a lot of Togekiss don't. So I think it's fair to put it in B tier. And it's kind of like the same with Ferrothorn, because Ferrothorn is good, like it's still a little bit passive. I think like when it gets rain, it can actually be a lot more annoying when we get something like Politoed in the game. Not looking forward to it, but like it can do what it does pretty well, but it's not really a good Pokemon. Then we have Dragonbolt. again, I'm a little torn between S and A because Dragon Ball's damage output isn't crazy. Like, you basically need a weakness policy to really do damage with it. But it's the Pokemon that sets the whole bar of the speed tier. Like, it is the naturally fastest thing that we have in the whole meta. And I think just because of that, like, it forces a lot. But I don't know if it's fallen a little bit flat on its face. But at the same time, what we're actually seeing is that we're seeing more bulky Dragon Balls. And we are seeing support Dragon Balls suddenly that has screens. And you have it on teams where you have it with something like Dusclops or something, or and Alolan Isis, and the Ice Shot or Shadow sneak into you, and you get the +2, and then suddenly Dragon Ball is the fastest thing, and it destroys everything in its way. So I think you could argue for giving it the A tier just because of how it's actually, like, it's evolved throughout the meta. It's not just max speed, max attack all the time anymore, which I think gives it more life, basically. So we're at the top 5. We're actually making it, and we have some very interesting Pokemon up here, let's just say it like that. Hippowdon, I haven't seen it. It's not really that good. Like, the thing is, as a sand setter, Tyranitar just does it so much better. And it's not because Hippowdon is bad. It falls a little flat, I guess. Like, it doesn't really have the presence that it needs to have. You could make it work. Yeah, you could make it work, sure. Like, because I can actually see it being annoying because it gets something like Yawn, which is super annoying. I think one of the things that hurts it is I don't think it gets high horsepower. Never mind, it actually totally does get high horsepower. Then I think it's fair to put it in the C because I could actually see that work where you have like Yawn and you have high horsepower and you're just annoying, but don't use Stealth Rocks with it. That's not a good strat. But yeah, I could actually see like Hippowdon do work if you have a team that's like weak to fighting and you kind of, you know, don't have a problem with water or the like. I could see some kind of argument for being made for Hippowdon not being terrible. Then we have Corviknight, and I want to rank it a little high because it can actually be super duper annoying. I just really haven't seen it be used that successfully. It's kind of the thing, but like in theory, it could be actually be quite good as Dynamax. Don't Gigantamax this thing. That it becomes so bad. Like I'm kind of torn, honestly, because if you don't have anything that really hits Corviknight, you can actually just straight up lose to it at that point. Then we have Excadrill. I want to put it in A tier. I don't know if it fully deserves it. It's just... No, we should probably put it together with Tita. It kind of has the same thing that it can really work well with Tita, but it can also work really well on its own. Because it can run both, obviously Sand Rush, be super duper fast and hit hard, but also as Mold Breaker, where suddenly you don't really care too much about those Rotoms that you can't hit, because suddenly you can. And I'm pretty sure you outspeed them. Yeah, you do. So like, it can really... Excadrill is just generally a really good Pokemon. And if you are worried about something like Intimidate, which we did see back in the Champions Cup, we did see that some people actually like running Swords Dance Excadrill. And suddenly you have something that counters the Intimidate or the Burns or whatever. And it's still... It can't be made passive and it's always going to be a threat. And I think like that just in and of itself gives Excadrill a lot of value. Even though, like, its coverage isn't the best, like, it's basically always going to be, like, Protector, Sword Stance, High Horsepower, Iron Head, Rock Slide, and that's basically the only 5 moves that it ever really needs. It just does its role so well. Whereas going into number 2, Toxapex, going right down there. It's bad, it's so passive, it's not worth using. Clefable, on the other hand, is a little funny, because it's not being used. Clefairy does the job a lot better, because it's mostly seen as, you know, a support Pokemon. Like, it can follow me, it has Friend Guard to like reduce the damage that your ally and Pokemon take. Whereas Clefable has Follow Me, but it's less bulky because of it doesn't have Eviolite and it doesn't have the Friend Guard. So it becomes more like if Clefable should like Clefable becomes kind of like a worse Togekiss. And it's not unusable, but if you need a Follow Me support, you would basically always go Togekiss because Togekiss just does it a lot better. But I mean, I don't think it's a horrible Pokemon. I think it's probably going to be a C tier because it can do what it does. Like it can do. I could see it do work. It's kind of the same with Hippowdon. Like I could see it do work, but it takes some like adjustments for the team to actually fit the role that Clefable brings. Like it's not as slap on the team and this is good as Togekiss is. So that was the whole list. That was all the top 25 most used Pokemon on the Smogons tier, except it's actually 31, but you know. We can't have legendaries like Steroar and Mew and Kyurem running around yet. So leave me your thoughts. Do you agree? There are still some that I'm a little iffy about if I put them right. Like something like Hatterene, I'm kind of torn if it should have been A tier and if Corviknight should have been lower. But like, give me your opinions down in the comments below. so that we can have a good discussion going and see if we agree or if we don't. And maybe someday we'll do something opposite where we take like VGC Pokemon and look into something like Draft League, you never know. But without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, keep cool, bye. I need my hand in the screen.